This presentation explains why mining methods vary so much from one project to another. Mining is not a one-size-fits-all business. The method selected depends on ore body shape, depth, grade, rock conditions, hydrogeology, and production goals. Some deposits are best mined from the surface, while others require underground or solution-based extraction. The objective of this deck is to give a practical overview of the main mining methods, show which minerals are typically mined with each approach, and explain the key trade-offs. For investors and industry followers, mining method matters because it directly influences capital intensity, operating cost, scale, recovery, safety, and environmental risk. This slide introduces the four main categories of mining approaches. Surface mining is usually best for shallow, large deposits and tends to support lower extraction costs and higher scale. Underground mining is used for deeper or more selective ore bodies and is technically more complex. Solution mining applies when minerals can be dissolved and recovered in place, which is common in uranium and brine-related deposits. Special and processing-linked methods, such as heap leaching and placer mining, are used where ore or sediment conditions make them economically attractive. This classification is helpful because it organizes a complex topic into a simple framework. This slide focuses on two key surface mining methods, open pit and strip mining. Open pit mining is one of the most common methods in the mining industry and is widely used for gold, copper, and iron ore deposits. It offers low unit cost and very high production scale, but it also creates a large environmental footprint and becomes less economic at depth. Strip mining is more specialized and works best for flat, layered deposits, such as coal and phosphate. It is efficient and highly mechanized, but it only suits certain deposit geometries and requires moving large volumes of waste and overburden. This slide compares quarrying and room and pillar mining. Quarrying is a low-complexity surface method used mostly for building materials and industrial stone, such as limestone, marble, and granite. It is simple, low-cost, and scalable, but it is limited to near-surface deposits and has visible environmental impact. Room and pillar is an underground method used for flat deposits like coal, potash, and salt. Its strengths are stability, productivity, and mechanization. The main trade-off is that some ore must be left behind in the pillars, which reduces recovery. This comparison shows how deposit shape strongly influences method selection. This slide explains cut-and-fill mining and long-hole stopping, two important underground methods. Cut-and-fill is best suited to steep, narrow, irregular, high-grade deposits. It is very selective and offers strong recovery, but it is slower and more expensive. Long-hole stopping is a more mechanized method used for larger and more regular underground sections. It generally has lower unit cost and higher productivity than cut-and-fill, but it requires a more consistent ore body and often carries more dilution risk. The contrast between these two methods is useful because it highlights the trade-off between selectivity and productivity in underground mining. This slide covers sublevel caving and block caving, which are bulk underground mining methods. Sublevel caving is used for large underground ore bodies and provides high production rates and strong mechanization, but dilution and subsidence are important risks. Block caving is designed for very large, deep, low-grade deposits and can become one of the lowest-cost mining methods once it is operating. However, it requires extremely high upfront capital, long development time, and strong geotechnical control. These methods are especially important in copper and large bulk mining systems because they allow huge volumes to be mined underground at scale. This slide explains two solution-based methods, in situ recovery and brine extraction. ISR injects solutions underground to dissolve minerals in place, then recovers them through wells. It is most commonly used for uranium and sometimes certain copper settings. Its main advantages are lower surface disturbance and lower excavation requirements, but it requires suitable geology and careful groundwater control. Brine extraction is used for minerals like lithium, potash, and boron. It can offer low operating costs and very large resource scale, but it is often slow, water-intensive, climate-dependent, and chemically complex. These methods are very different from conventional hard rock mining. This slide focuses on heap leaching and placer mining. Heap leaching is widely used to recover metals from low-grade ore, especially gold, silver, and copper oxides. It is attractive because it requires lower capital than a mill and can scale relatively easily, but recovery is slower and solution containment is critical. Placer mining and dredging target loose sediments in rivers, beaches, and coastal settings. These methods can be effective and relatively low cost for the right deposit types, especially gold, tin, and diamonds, but they also create significant environmental impacts and are limited to unconsolidated sediment-style deposits. This slide brings the analysis together by focusing on method selection and risk. The first rule is to match the mining method to the deposit type. Large, shallow deposits tend to favor open-pit mining, while deep, massive, low-grade deposits may require caving methods. The second key point is that mining methods differ greatly in cost, scale, and selectivity. For example, open-pit mining supports high scale but only medium selectivity, while cut-and-fill offers very high selectivity at lower scale and higher cost. This slide also highlights risk areas such as slope stability, hydrogeology, geotechnics, land disturbance, groundwater contamination, and waste management. The final conclusion is that there is no universally best mining method. The correct choice depends on the characteristics of the deposit, the mineral, production targets, and the balance between cost, recovery, safety, and environmental performance. For companies, choosing the right mining method is a strategic decision that shapes long-term project success. For investors, understanding the mining method helps explain differences in capital intensity, operating cost, scalability, and risk between projects that may look similar on the surface. In short, mining method is one of the most important variables in evaluating any mining asset, both technically and financially.